All right, hello there. My name is Colonel Fats, and this is going to be my application submission video for AGDQ 2025 in January. Um, this, as the video title might is slowly hidden, but I had world record by like 0.04 seconds, but in the last 2 weeks, Tritor has taken it back, so it is second place. I was trying to get a better video, a PB to record over, but time eluded me, and the run has a lot of RNG. But yeah, essentially, let's get started. And I am kind of just recording over my own video, so you'll hear me kind of twice because it's in my stream, but it's really quiet. But essentially, plan is to basically just do it as like a commentary, like as if I was at GDQ, kind of my thought process. So, I just kind of introduce myself, say, hello, my name is Colonel Fats. I'm going to be doing any percent glitchless for Lies of P. And here's my awesome couch. Have them introduce themselves. I think I was going to have Mitch Riz and a couple of friends. We'll see who can make it. But I will be there regardless of if I get accepted. So excited to see it. But anyway, the couch introduce themselves, and then I'm gonna kind of try to explain everything, even though in the run there's probably multiple segments where I'll just let Mitch or whoever on the couch talk because it's kind of hard. It's a hard game. Lots of parrying, lots of timing. Without any further ado, let's get started. The run just starts off by just clicking new game, and then we go into the train. So one thing to explain, in the latest patch, or one of the latest patches, they added a new DLC weapon, and unlike other games, you don't have to go kill something to go get it. They just give it to you right at the start. You also start with your arm of steel. Notice I'm going to punch my way through this train and then bust out the free glaive they gave us, because normally they don't give you a weapon at this point, so you just have to slowly walk through the train. They've made it a lot faster, but also a lot more frustrating because you essentially we block cancel our lights, so we just hold block and we can cancel into first light attack and it won't string into the light auto combo. And we basically just do that to traverse through the train. And we pick the dexterity build because the glaive, DLC glaive, is a um, dex item. We're actually going to give it a crank later on to make it scale even more in dex. But yeah. That was a weird thing that started. Now we're just going to just run. There's a lot of running segments like these. I mean, I know the run just started, so I'm sure we'll have a bunch of chat about, probably give history on the game or something like that. Describe what it's all about. But well, I guess yeah, now would be a good point to describe what the glaive does. So why is the glaive, the new free DLC weapon, so good? Well, every weapon has a uh hold block, fable button, and fable button move. And the fable button move of the glaive is a parry that then can string into a lot of damage. And then we build it with certain amulets that we get later on to do a ton of damage. So with this guy, we're just gonna, it's very scripted. We just punch him 3 times, light into charge heavy, and down, grab the key, and we keep going. Just gonna open the door. We're gonna then the other ability of the glaive though is that it does this like cyclone spin attack that also does a lot of damage, paired with like status ailments, and it just, once you level it up, and yeah, it actually does a lot of, I would say casually it's not actually that good of a weapon because the moves really aren't that great and it doesn't do a ton of damage. But if you're good at parrying and you kind of know what the bosses do, it an absurdly powerful weapon. So now we're just gonna run along this path and go all the way to our first boss. So if this would probably be a good, like a couple. Unless we still want to chat, we're basically going to be gathering select throwables Throwables are very strong, but they're just not as fast as parrying with the glaive, except on a couple of bosses. So we're actually going to grab that thermite is for Archbishop Andreas, which 20. We need 3 of those, so that's going to be our first one. I struggle at doing this merchant fast. Essentially, we're just going to go on a short little shopping spree. We're going to sell the uh, fragment and rapier, buy 3 of those, 3 of those, 3 of those, and we're off. Try not to roll, but it happened. So now, this is one of the few bosses that I'd say is very scripted. I don't think there's a single boss in the game that's truly scripted, to be honest. Maybe Walker of Illusions. But as long as we do it right, this guy should be fine. It is possible where in like Pokemon, you can do more damage based on just random chance. You can actually over damage him and get him into the phase too early. But essentially, the way the script works is before he even gets to phase 2, we time the riposte just perfectly where we can burst him down. And there we go. That's the first boss. So now we're going to run all the way to the hotel. We're going to do a lot of stuff at the hotel. I will say, pressure aside and anything being at GDQ, but I will say to my couch, you're going to have to take over during the hotel segments because it's just a lot of menuing. And I just always try to go fast, obviously. So with all of the menuing, it's just I have to focus. I have to focus on not screwing up. This first hotel trip really isn't much, but once we start getting into like, all right, buy this, sell this, do all this, blah, blah, try not to forget everything. So a lot of the loading screens like that have a specific time when you can finally start canceling out of skipping them. So it's weird to know the timing. So we just here we're gonna get 17 tech. Going under 17 and then re-leveling up is fine. Going over to 18 is restart the run. So hopefully don't do that in the run at GDQ. I'll probably go a little slower just to make sure we don't do that. I'll obviously have a lot of my saves ready just in case things. Because there is a lot of RNG. A lot of the RNG, though, does just mean we're going to kill the boss slower. Hopefully not die to the boss, but we'll see how it goes. Now we're going to Elysium. So now here's the one moment of the run coming up that I need the keyboard and mouse. There is a jump that is somewhat precise, and the keyboard and mouse is so much more consistent at doing it. Basically, the keyboard, because it's WASD, will always just make you walk perfect, right? Whereas on the controller, it's an amp straight, which is a problem. So that's why we do that jump. But this is again going to be a really long running section, so you could probably sneak in here. Always like to say hi to my friend the dog. There he is. If the dog, there is chance the dog doesn't show up, and that's bad luck. So thankfully we got the dog. It's good. You can take these corners surprisingly sharp, but safety probably just a little. I've never actually fallen there. This guy at the end of the bridge has knocked me off in the past before. He is kind of a troll. But that's okay. Got past him. So we're coming up to the jump. There is a guy in the hallway who is very he can also be a troll where he can block us. Try to perfectly stop running here, let it go full and take a few steps, and hopefully he walked into the hallway enough before he started attacking and then get back. Easy peasy. Now coming up on the jump, so I'd probably focus up and let describe what's happening here. But we're gonna buy 3 abrasives and 2 throwing cells. We're gonna run onto this balcony, shift over here, line it up, and jump. Perfect. So you might be thinking glitchless, but that was out of bounds. Well, we agreed in the Discord. We did a vote for anyone who's running at the time, and the supermod and everyone was like, "Yep, it's fine." So it's fine. But now we're coming up on Donkey. Very RNG boss, but he's not really hard. He's just hard to get fast. Buff with our lightning. I'll probably have at some point Mitch, whoever, describe what the status effects. Quite interesting. Gonna trade through there. We hoped he would have gotten staggered, but he didn't. But then he got staggered here. So we can take the riposte and have enough Fable for Murphy, the next boss. Here we go. We have saved Papa. Edo is saved. Quick little time save. We unequip door. Re-equip the glaive. Because the glaive is really heavy. And how Liza P works, like every Souls game works, you have like a light, a normal, slightly heavy, and then a heavy 8 options. But if you're like heavy, you can't roll. And if you're light, you're sprinting the fastest. So the glaive is just so heavy that until later in the run where we level up our capacity to be able to run with the glaive and still be light, we cannot. Even if it's the only thing we have equipped. Cannot run light with the. He's in a weird spot. Yeah, he's gonna come hit. So we're gonna run over here, get this amulet. This amulet is a it does increased damage against puppets if you have it. And just so happens boss is a puppet. This is Murphy. You may be thinking, what's the strategy for this boss? Because a lot of bosses have been kind of scripted, just parry him. This boss is just fight him. He's very frustrating. Like even casually, this boss is pretty frustrating because he really can't be that upgraded at this point. So he just has a lot of health, combined with he's immune to electricity, and that is the only status ailment we have. Kind of a troll game, in my opinion. But yeah, we really just fight him. Considering he's one of the earlier bosses, his moves really aren't that bad to like parry. But he, like every other boss, is going to hit very hard because we don't wear armor. That makes it slower. Just slower to menu to put him on. It dodges grab attack, can't parry grabs like a fighting game. Finishing him. He's just got so much HP, and we just do not have the damage yet. And we took him down. There he goes. So we're just gonna take the Stargazer in the middle and travel back to the hotel. We're going to level up, and we need because of how the run is, and we need Fable Catalyst is an item that we use to give us 1 bar of Fable free. Actually, based on the next time we come back here, we want to buy quartz. In one of the updates of the game, oh my, in one of the updates to the game, they actually lowered some of the boss's health along with. Oh, there's the cat. Cat luck. It lowered some of the boss's health, and it gave the shop more items so you can upgrade. Because people were quitting on the game. On that box, there is a small chance that the cat will spawn. You can say hi, and that means the run is blessed. It is a cat run. So hopefully we get that. So I'll probably let one of the other people explain that part. But basically, what I just did there was there's like a training area where it gives you infinite Fable, and you can train on these dummies that attack you and parry and do all your moves and whatever. Um, because it gives you infinite Fable, it fills your Fable to full, and then when you leave, it doesn't like take it away. So what we do is we run over there, step in, but if you sprint the whole time, it won't work. You run at the room, stop at the doorway, and then walk in and then run out, and it will fill your Fable full. We use that as like a little free refill. So here we are going to equip some armor, and then we're going to do another long running section. So I think here would be a great time for patience. I haven't done it yet. I probably would have explained it by now. Maybe, I don't know. But essentially, we've discovered that if you use an item, particularly the one we use all the time is the healing item, you use the item while you're running off, it will give you this like slight speed boost and give you more horizontal distance in the air. Here's the part where it actually really helps. As we clear that first gap, we don't have to fall on the ledge, stop, and then run forward and fall again, so you don't have to fall twice. And it gives you a little booster. You'll see me doing that a ton throughout the run because that little speed boost is, it's light time save, and it's a hour and a half speed run. So every little bit adds up. So like right there, we can get more distance. Another benefit to doing the little heal boost. I don't know. We haven't really thought of a name. I think we've just calling it. You start like recovering stamina faster. Uh, so that's really useful as well. Any more donations? Keep going because running. That butterfly can be a troll. It's really random on it blocks you. It's I've had it super block me before. Quite frustrating. So we're just gonna grab this electric abrasive. Your bosses. Now would probably be a good time to explain the status effects. So the status effects are kind of unique in this game. There's three of them. Three main ones that we would use in combat against bosses, let's say. Um, so the electric is actually more unique than the other two. The other two are kind of clones of each other. But the electric shock status effect, if it's applied to us, we just lose Fable constantly, along with taking more physical damage. The enemies, you don't really see their Fable bar. I don't even know if it really affects like that. But they take 20%, something like that, more physical damage. And that is pretty useful, especially if your boss is weak to electric. You just really stack on the damage. Like Fireman coming up, we're going to jump across and get the technique handle. That item is what allows us to change our glaive to scale even more on decks. But yeah, fire status effect, it just does damage over time, and it gives you a damage buff to any fire damage you do. And it's the same with acid, except they weakens weapon more because you can break bosses' weapons in this game, or enemies even too. All right, so here's Fireman. He's doing the charge right away. Not a huge deal. Time loss, but nothing we can't deal with. We just kind of the goal with him is really do a lot of damage, don't do too much, and then give him the big poke, give him a charge heavy, and then uh hit him into spin and he's down. So a weird, well, not really weird, a thing about the run that can save you a lot of time is you really, really, really don't want to be hit by Fireman, and you don't want to be hit by Atoned. So if this was like GDQ, I'd probably would use both heals here just to be full health. Um, because the game is a mechanic where if you're out of heals and if you do enough damage to enemies, it will refill your last heal. And then if you use that heal and do it again, you can refill it again. But it takes even more. Every consecutive time you have to fill it again. Um, with Atoned, we basically want to end the fight with uh we want to end the fight with one heal. So even if we have zero when it starts, we'll do enough damage to her where it'll fill it up, but then we really can't get hit. And the main thing is it saves like 3 seconds maybe by allowing us to skip a ladder. Skipping ladder is important. Gravity is faster than climbing down. Um what's fun fact is until I did my second playthrough and was looking up all the bosses and 100%ing it, I didn't know that this was a boss. Because if you casually go through the game, uh, you normally have found an item that you can give her that says, "Oh yeah, I'm part of your crew." We actually have a different way of killing her now, which is even safer. You can actually get a cheeky backstab start. At the time of this run, I did not know. So we basically are just parrying into light, Fable parrying into light. So what's really awesome about the glaive is if you do the parry animation or whatever, and you succeed, it refunds you your Fable back. So it doesn't cost anything. If you do the light follow up, it also doesn't cost anything. So you can just parry light like we loop her. And we finish her off with the heavy. The heavy then will spend an extra. But still, the Fable management of this weapon is kind of crazy. You can really get some good burst damage because you're parrying, which increases their stagger bar. And yeah, do a lot of menuing in this gondola. Now, here would be the first incentive. So I have an incentive listed. I hope I did it right. I had a little video. But essentially, during this gondola, once we do all of these menuing, we will then have time to equip a costume. So whatever costume wins the incentive, I will equip for the rest of the run. And Gemini gives a nice speech. But then, yeah, if we're not talking or doing anything, then we can do more donations, obviously. But yeah, just a long gondola ride where we just chillax, listen to Gemini. I would probably mention that certain someone, Tritor, current record, uh, and a lot of the other, they mute Gemini. And I'm like, how could you mute Gemini? He's our companion. He gives us like life. So my weird, funny headcanon for myself, because I've been running this for a long time, is that this character's name is Greg. He is looking for the One Piece. We tell him he has to go to the Grand Line. I'm a One Piece fan, so that's my canon. Every run. Sometimes I give him a little voice. Parkour. So yeah, if you just run along that one of the line, the first line from the right, just run straight on it and then time your jump and then boom, parkour. So this part is where the run kind of changes and gets a little harder. We get longer running segments that are a lot more dangerous and have RNG. So this bridge is kind of the bridge of death here. Essentially, there's these puppets fighting these monsters, and it's completely RNG on how well they do. You want the puppets to either do really well or really bad. In the middle, it gets a little dicey. Because there's really only one enemy that is a threat, and there's the back is I call him Antlers because he's the one with antlers. And basically, if we can get past him, we're in the clear. So that was really nice. He didn't try to attack us. Essentially, with that enemy, he has a two attacks. He has a running light kind of combo attack that's super fast, and then he has an unblockable, really slow attack. And if he does the if he does the light attack, you have to roll it for the most times. If he does the heavy attack, if you roll it, it will catch you. Very frustrating enemy. Spoilers, that's the boss we're gonna go get. But yeah, this is the climb segment. First, we're gonna go down. So this is where if we have the heal, we can skip that ladder, and it's really nice. If we don't, we lose time because we have to take it. That's really the main for trying to save that heal. But I mean, we're always trying to save the heal. We're not trying to get hit by the bosses. That's slow. Yeah, so I'd probably end up focusing up for this part and let the couch chat because this running segment is a little it's just I've done it a bajillion times, so it's really not that hard, but it's rude. That lady is always going to throw like decay at us. It's very frustrating, but it is what it is. Dodge her. Sometimes she will attack too fast, so we gotta dodge. Yeah, we keep going. Dodge these giant balls. Fun fact: they will one-shot you even at full health. So, health schmouth. We don't really need it. So another thing is, since we got to like the ladder or even entered the cathedral, I don't know the exact time of when things start, but there's a cycle of the enemies walking, then there's a cycle of these water wheels. And essentially, as long as we do everything correctly, don't get hit, we will make the cycle. So very good. Equip the glaive, fire it up. This is a good showing. This is our one of our first real mini bosses. They all pretty much end up going like this. We just kind of abuse the fact that the elements combined with the spin does absurd damage. Really what it is. So we're gonna jump through here. This is a supply box, and we're actually going to be getting all of them because get them all. The shopkeep will sell some of the upgrade material to upgrade a boss weapon to full, and the glaive is considered. It takes special boss tight night. You get it. All right. So now that we've made it to the library, we're gonna grab our final thermite for Bishop. We have 3 thermite and we have more than 3, but we only need 3 shock throwing cells for Bishop. But before that, we're going to go back to Krot. We're going to finally upgrade our weapon. We used to actually level up here, but that's slow. We don't need to. So we're going to go over to, what's his name? Palandina. Yeah. Give him a box. He gives us Ergo. Nice. We're going to buy 6 Fable Catalyst, the quartz, and the dark moonstones of the covenant. Name always makes. Also, you gotta go with Vanini as you walk past him. That is where we just upgraded it to +2 and made it a technique weapon. The scaling with the crank. That's what's called. But then a huge thing he gives us a grinder which lets us put fire on our weapon once per sit. But annoyingly enough, when you get it, it doesn't auto equip it. You have to equip it at a bonfire. Very frustrating to get all the way to Bishop and then realize you don't have a fire grinder. Stinks. So now we're just gonna do another run to Archbishop. So here would be another time to sneak in. This compared to the climb, this run segment is significantly. It's just got a boss at the end. So we will keep going. We're gonna roll past her. Rude. I'll throw in their stomach acid. As long as you have enough stamina and your full sprint, you will not get decayed here. Always super close, but it never, wouldn't say never, it has happened. As long as you run good, you're fine. Another antlers enemy, but this one we have a plan. We just run at the corner of the texture on the ground and we're good. So now we're going to go over here. Want to be super safe, you could open up a shortcut, but we're just going to. Shortcuts are slow. Also, neat fact, this is like the only door in the game I think this works. But you can start opening it and then go into your menu and equip the glaive before it kicks you out of the menu and starts acting. Cutscene. Kind of neat. So then I would focus this one, probably give it to someone to describe what's we're gonna do this guy. But since I'm technically playing right now, I don't have to focus. So he did a insanely rare opening there. He normally has 2 openings, but sometimes he does the rare 3 where he just runs at you and starts fighting right away. But phase 1 is really the major threat of this fight. Phase 2 is very scripted. Once we take the riposte, take him down, we're gonna throw 1, 2, 3 thermites. 1, 2, 3 throwing cells. And we're gonna wait for his poke, give him our poke back, and then spin to win, and tap him, and he's down. Very good fight. Clean. So now we're going to. Most people do not meet Alidoro here, but since we're not doing side quests, we're just going. He actually shows up here. So we're gonna use Fireman's Soul and Soul to make their boss amulets that are basically going to give us some more damage. The Fireman's Soul, Fuecoco, whatever his name is, his soul amulet is actually insanely good for our build. Because essentially what it does is if you perfect block, your next attack does more damage. And our parry with the glaive counts for that. So we start shredding damage. So now we are just at another really long running segment. It's kind of how this game goes. It's just run for a long time, then boss. Run for a long time, then. So this would be a great time for a because we're really just running. If we wanted to talk story wise, at this point we really don't know anything. He woke up in a train. A mysterious voice in a lantern is telling us to go save our dad. So we go save him immediately. And then he just keeps telling us to go do stuff. Going. So right now we're trying to investigate the Dark Rabbit Brotherhood because he thinks they might be behind the puppet frenzy. Spoiler there. But they're still up to no good. So we will just keep running. And at this gate, this guy can be a little finicky, but I found a much safer way. But essentially do a little whoop 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 around him, and we're good. One of the things I find interesting, I feel like games like this where they have like big enemy behind the gate. After he comes through the gate like closes again, but that gate just doesn't close. So once it opens, just run. We don't need to fight it. All right. So continuing on, we finally get another Stargazer. Fun fact: if we died, we would be very far. We'd actually be before Bishop. I guess not too. There's the cat and the fox. Don't even need to address them there. We just run by. Casually, if you're playing and you talk to them, you can accept their help and they'll help you clear out these guys. But fun fact, oh, Lady with a Jar, my favorite NPC. Who's not really? Gotta say hi to Lady with a Jar. But yeah, oh yeah, casually, they'll help you through. But if you're like me and you somehow died, they're just gone. Get one try it is them helping, but whatever. So continuing on with the run, it's just running. This guy's like, what a deal. I really enjoy this guy's dialogue. Bros have good dialogue. I just the fights are so brutal that just hate them. Just don't like. Fun fact: invisible bear trap. I've looked. You look everywhere. There is no bear trap. The one thing I always say, I've started to have a thought. It was like, man, thank goodness she doesn't have an invisible bear trap attack she does in the fight. That would be so horrible. What is that? Doesn't do any damage, but it just stops you in place. So, fun fact with this fight, if anyone knows, bros, it's kind of like fight the big one, and then his friends will show up. But if you just take out the big one, you don't even have to deal with the little ones. So we kind of have we have a script that basically just schmelts him. We're gonna throw 3 shock, and then we're just gonna try and land a Fable Heavy when we can. It all depends on which of his like 5 attacks he decides to do. But then in the one after that, it's just parry light, spin, riposte, he's dead. And they're just like, no, big bro, we were coming in and doing our big epic entrance. Well, too bad. He's already down. All right. So we went through all of that. We're actually going to slowly open this chest because it's going to give us another quartz. Quartz, as you saw before, is used to upgrade our hearts. Gives us more upgrade. Game has a unique way of leveling up. You can level up your stats, you can upgrade weapons, and you can upgrade your heart. Heart takes quartz. The fun fact: after we beat them, this guy who we completely have never seen before is like, "Hey, I found the tree," and you're just like, "What tree? I don't even know what you're talking about." But it has gold coins, and we are going to use them to skip bosses. So there's like I don't know. I didn't really like the gold coin mechanic with the like an extra helps out your summon fights. And I'm one of those hardcore gotta fight the boss with mano a mano just with my stick, kind of thing. I don't use magic my first play. But here we're gonna upgrade our heart for the last time. Uh, I'll probably explain what's on. But we're going to get some upgrades. Very important that we talk to Antonia because she gives us the key. I have runs where I get to the door, the hotel, and I literally can't open it because I did not talk to her. Very frustrating. Here, we're going to level 10, 10, 29, 10 health, 10 capacity, 29 technique. Technique is dex. Then we're going to max buy Fable Catalyst with the rest of our money. We're going to fill up on Fable. Then we're going to go to Rosa. So I would say this hotel section in particular has potentially the greatest time lost from Sophia spawning in a bad spot. Like she can spawn in so many locations. She's the one, our shrine maiden. She levels us up. She can literally lose you like 4 to 5 seconds just because she spawned for it. Come on, girl, help me out here. My heart upgrade was so good that I almost gold split anyway with Sophia's bad spawn. Right. So here comes another kind of short running section. So we are going to find White Lady. That is literally what it's called. White Lady. She has arguably one of the most tragic backstories. I feel so bad for her. But in a Dark Soulsian fashion, NPCs have to have tragic back. But essentially, so Gemini's talking about Adelina Corday, the singer in the red dress. Turns out White Lady is her sister. Adelina Corday is the older one, and she noticed her younger sister was an even better singer than her. So she literally poisons her so she can't sing anymore and basically degrades her to her secretary. And but she loves her sister and she doesn't know. So she thinks, because she hasn't heard from her sister, she thinks that Puppets killed her because she can't get older and she's probably dead and they're taking over everything. Uh, well, it turns out you can actually find her and you get a record from her. And she is alive. And you kind of get that story. And I just thought, man, you're evil, girl. Felt bad. And then we come in and she's like, "You evil puppet, I know you took my sister." And it's like, "Oh, your sister's evil. And I have to take you out because you're trying to take me out." Oh, it's so bad. But yeah, essentially with White Lady, we just we just Fable Light, spin, post. She's dead. Pretty simple. King of Puppets, on the other hand, not as simple. That's okay. These Magikarps, as we've dubbed them, can totally kill you. They will spawn like perfectly in the middle, and you can't get around them, and then they just one shot you. Again, we aren't really upgrading our health too much, combined with we are definitely not really wearing armor, so everything hurts. Because we are actually pretty far into the game, even though we're not even, we're 36. So another running moment, if you wanted, we could do more donations. Um, but yeah, coming up is the Opera House. So fun Lies of P speedrunning lore because I was almost in it at the beginning, but not quite. But in the first patch, I don't know if it was this first patch after that, vanilla in the game, they had this box by the Opera House that looked so jumpable that turns out it was, and you could just skip like the whole Opera House. Well, then they like put another box, so they basically made it so you can't do that jump anymore. But we have found new Blade Runner shoutouts. He has found an awesome trick. Basically, with the glaive, the running light really gives you some horizontal distance, and we can use that in two specific sections to clear gaps. Um, Run over here, whip it, wait a little bit, wait for the spider to move, and whoop, just like that. We light over the railing and boss door. If we did the old skip, you actually drop down right into this room. It was kind of crazy. We're gonna equip all of our amulets, and we're gonna go in here. So this is an RNG fight. They all have RNG. The RNG is mostly what do you do with it, and it's gonna make the fight slower. But step one is we're gonna throw our final throwing cell at him. Hopefully that aggroes him into running at us, which it did. Then we hope he does two windmill punches or the other combo. Sometimes we can do one windmill punch and he just backs up, and but this is pretty good. And top table. I kind of had to. And yeah, we just parry his thing. Phase two arguably would be most people's like casual nightmare. He has a very long combo that is really bad. But in this, we in his phase two, we basically just obliterate him. It's scripted. It's one of those, it either goes right or it goes wrong kind of thing. Because when it goes wrong, then we kind of have to fight him. He's pretty tough. But similar fashion, Laxasia is kind of the same. Casually, phase two is a nightmare. Speedrun, it's scripted, easiest fight of my life. So down goes the king, so we're gonna keep going. Here comes another long running section. But yeah, this would be another great time for donations. Another long. I will say coming up is Death Dogs basically. It's just an RNG part. It, knowing it's GDQ, it'll probably happen in it. But these dogs can basically they don't respect your iframes, but they'll just keep swinging. And if they basically both hit you at the same time on wake up from being invulnerable, you die. And it's one of the saddest deaths. I've died there a couple of times. It's one of those there's nothing you can do death. I hate it. Um, but we didn't die there. Fun fact, in Trator's record, he saves like 4 to 5 seconds, but he doesn't sell the rapier because he equips it because he can run fast with the rapier equipped. Glaive's too heavy, but the rapier is fine. So that door and one other door at the end of this arc. If you have a weapon equipped, you will recover from opening the door and can run sooner, faster. You recover faster. So, but it's riskier because if you have the rapier on at that first door where the two dogs are, you recover right away. I always die to this, so I don't do it. Runs too long to die. It's frustrating. But here we go. We're gonna take out this guy. Just a simple carry into heavy, into the follow up light. Into Another mini boss spun to death. You'll see there's a pattern. The spin is very powerful. Takes down the mini boss. So here comes another long running section. This would be a great time for some donations. Dark Moon Moonstones of the Covenant are the items that we use to upgrade the glaive with Eugenie. We need 4 total. We picked up 1 in the Opera House, and we're gonna get the other. So we just picked up our second one, and then we're gonna pick up 2 more. We're gonna buy his 5 fire abrasives and thermites. We only really needed 3 fire abrasives, but 2 clicks versus 1, because you can go left to just max buy. So coming up is, I think some people might get a little mad because these enemies, which there's like 2 of, I think, in the game, 2 or 3 of in the game, these jester clowns. This is the first one, and this guy is a nightmare casualty. But thankfully, we're speedrunners and lab things, and he's actually even easier than the first guy because we don't have to parry anything. So we're gonna equip 2 amulets, shock up, and we're gonna heavy attack, wait for it, heavy attack, spin. What else could we do? Heavy attack. Easy as mini boss is the easiest mini boss in the speedrun is like the hardest mini boss casually. it's kind of funny how that works. But yeah. And like when you're learning the route, it's really satisfying. Cuz like the boss before, I've lost runs to him where it's just like you miss the parry. You don't have enough fable for the jester then. But here's the other door. So I don't have the since there's no dogs around, I will actually equip the glaive, and you'll see how fast I actually recover. Just instantly pulls it out. If I didn't equip the glaive there, he would take like 4 steps out of the door and then do a little pose. It literally loses like 5 seconds. It's so weird. I don't understand why there's different door opening animation for unequipped versus equipped. There's a third Dark Moon Moonstone of the Covenant. So we just need 1 more to +3 our glaive, which we will be getting shortly. We're going to just keep running. Run. I stink at doing these stairs fast, but I'm trying to get better. Stairs are hard. I was thinking about doing an incentive here, but I just did. But sometimes they do a little menuing, and then sometimes I like to equip the white ladies because we have it now. We can. And I actually do. I didn't realize it did in this run. So that's a possibility, but I probably wouldn't because of the incentive earlier, and I didn't want to do like 2 costumes. It's like yes or no to white lady mask, whatever. So here we're going to get the Stargazer, and if you can see that item down the hallway that I'm looking at, that is going to be our last Dark Moonstone of the Covenant. Feel like you gotta say the whole name out. It's just odd. I don't know the space between dark and moon, but then the not space between moonstone and moon and stone. It's just odd. So simply here, we are going to upgrade. Oh, this is another spot where Sophia can lose us a ton of time, which she does for me here. At the top of the stage for a second. Using 11 capacity, 38 dexterity, and we're gonna go upgrade our weapon and then get Fable. I don't know why I did it in that weird order, but whatever. Talk to her. So she's got to tell us a story, it's important. But then once we upgrade the weapon, we'll just go back. It's like she spawned in the worst spot. Amazing. Red Bull gives you wings. Not sponsored. All right. So now I actually lost a pretty good run here recently. But this is Grenade Hallway of Doom. Uh Usually it's fine, but if both of the first turrets throw at the same time, it's gonna be rough. Let's just hope that doesn't happen. But either way, we're gonna run in here, we're gonna stop, they're all looking menacing, and we're gonna dodge his, do a little loopy loop, because we need this shield guy to get out of the way. And he moved. Perfect. That that spot is just frustrating. So we're gonna come up here. We're gonna take out this guy because he's just blocking the way to get around. Well, light, light. Unfortunately, he blocked, so we had to hit him a fourth time, but that's okay. So now we're gonna go to this light, turn back. We're gonna take out this guy, and then run up here. If you go too soon, he'll actually try to like cut you off and go middle path and block you. Oh, good old shield troll. All right, so we're gonna grab this acid. Fun fact: we're gonna use it on Victor. Next boss coming up. This room is timed. It's completely timed. So once we enter, we have a lot of time. We basically just don't. We the test of patience. We don't want to do anything because we'll actually awaken some of the enemies and they'll come after us. Whereas if we just chill here and wait, we wait for him to finish cutting the door, and then once he's done cutting it, it just kind of loses its material attachment to the world. It's very weird. You run through it. Not a glitch. Not a glitch. So we continue here. This guy gave me weird bullet pattern there, but essentially just yeah. The guns they make in these times just bullet velocity seems very slow. You can literally dodge them. Maybe we're just Superman the puppet. But speaking of those boxes, here's another one. We're gonna give to Paul and Dina so he can upgrade his shop. Important. Now we're gonna fight Victor. Victor's the basic strategy for him is basically the same every time. The RNG just comes from how fast can we take him down. Like he'll give us different moves, and some of them we can punish faster than others, and that's kind of the RNG. But the whole gist of the fight is kind of screwed. Run forward, do a heavy, flip and attack, another heavy, flip, another charge heavy. He gave me the slow uppercut. Down he goes. Now we got phase two. So hopefully he just runs at me. That would be really nice, but he didn't. So now we gotta run at him and hope he does a nice attack. He didn't give me a nice attack. He gave me a slow attack. But basically, phase two is just two Fable Heavies into a couple of attacks. You'll always grab, get around him. And if you get around him, you'll always do the backhand. You do heavy. Sometimes he gets knocked there, sometimes he doesn't. And then the only quit out of the game that we do on purpose is right there. If you quit out as you after you kill him before it like transitions to think, we skip a lot of dialogue because I've actually missed it recently. And yeah, it's a lot of dialogue. Like, Ennis asks you a bunch of stuff. It's like, shut up, dude, I gotta go. So we just quit out and then reload, and it skips the whole thing. Which, a fun, interesting fact: if you do that, during the Manus dialogue, he actually gives you a key that you can go back and then open up the room where you can respec. Um, but we skipped the dialogue, so we don't have the key. The game, how it fixes is the next time we sit at a stargaze, it will give us the key. Just out of nowhere. It's like, here's your key, like interesting. There's the cat and the fox again. If we do not give them a gold coin there, they will both turn into bosses later. So we give them the gold coin. Hooray. They wouldn't betray us or anything. Gave them a coin. They're so nice. So here comes a very long running section. So get your donation voice ready. You got time. Essentially, it's just we can only run this fast. There's not even any mini bosses or anything. We just there is like an Indiana Jones rolling boulders part. That's later. Um, I will say these dogs can be kind of trolly. So can that gunman, but it's fine. We got through. There's also a lot of not invisible bear traps that do damage you and get you stuck. So don't hit those. You come here. Comes the clown. Kind of roll his attack and keep going. This tower is a little dangerous. We basically just get full stamina, and then what we do is dependent upon what this guy does. Rolls backwards or aims. We kind of want to try and roll his gunshot timing thing. But he has a chance to do the best thing where he tries to melee us, and he'll like melee himself off the ledge. Doesn't actually kill him, but doesn't shoot us. So here's the last time we're talking to Alidoro. Now we don't care. We just made the Arm of God amulet from Victor's soul. So now we no longer need Alidoro. Any boss souls we get, we can just pop for more souls because we don't need anything else. The build is complete. Well, I guess the only thing we really need is to upgrade the glaive to 5 and get more decks. Whatever. I will say for a like poison swamp area of a video game, Dark Souls' swamps are way worse than this. This really isn't that. They're just like, oh, what if we had poison swamp with giant turret shooting at you? Like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, more donations. Just a really long running segment. They're these puppet of the future. Yeah. Fun fact, I learned about this upcoming drop down from watching Tutor speedrun. Like I never found this casually because I don't think the items important it anyway. Yeah, you can drop down here. Roll. I think I screwed up my but yeah. Skip that whole down section. Here's the Indiana Jones Boulder segment. What's really nice, so I didn't really explain it. I usually would at Rosa Isabel Street. One of the quartz upgrades we got the last time we upgraded was basically reduce stamina consumption from dash. And dash is just literally sprinting, running. So our stamina bar, if you hadn't noticed, has just does not go down very much when we're running. It allows us to do that entire rolling ball section without stopping, which is quite convenient. I was in the category of runners who was doing it before the glaive. It was a pipe wrench strategy, and that boulder section was horrible because we did not get the quartz upgrade to reduce stamina. Also, we do not. We have to kill like a butterfly in the middle of it to get to upgrade our wrench all the way. Really nice that the glaive is a boss weapon because if it wasn't, we would have to we need more upgrade materials. Boss weapons always take less, but special materials in Souls games. So here is the trigger. I'm pretty sure it's right here. Once you hit this trigger, chapter like 1 and 2 of the game are no longer accessible. A big story thing happened to Krot. Basically, an earthquake. Yeah. So this boss is pretty brutal, just like Murphy. He's It's very RNG on how fast or slow you it just depending on what moves you get. This is one of the first bosses that's uniquely weak to two elements, but depending on the phase. So in phase one, he's weak to fire, in phase two, he's weak to electricity. Oh, I remember this is actually this boss I used to hate, but now he's kind of fun. But he just has so many moves that he can do. I think he's going down. Nope, I'm going down. I'm so doing that's another problem with this boss. If you get hit, a lot of his attacks apply decay, which if you can see my weapon is like it breaks. I'm going to electric up in phase two, fable up, and then I had to repair my weapon because the decay basically destroyed it. That's why I get that item on the run to White Lady. Either this guy or Bros Part 2 will decay you. If it happens, it's really, really slow and dangerous to pull out the grinder and then start grinding it mid fight. So the item that I use is called the Vanini Repair something. Basically, it just fully repairs your item, your weapon. So use that because I got the kid. But either way, Swamp Monster is down. Now, double fun. We're going back to Krot. Krot Central Station. The start of the game. That is unique. The more you know. So we're basically just going to run for a long while, stopping at one stargazer. So guess what? Donations. This would be a great time to read those donations. Because essentially we're just gonna run through Krot Central Station again. Kill anything. We're gonna avoid mini bosses and just go. There are 2 mini bosses coming up that we will take down before the next boss, Walker of Illusions. See, and just there, we sat at the Stargazer. It finally gave me the key that we skipped Manus giving to. We skipped the dialogue of him giving it to us, and we skipped a bunch of Stargazers until finally setting at that one. Kind of fun. So, yep, donations because we're just running through. Nothing too special. Very similar to the start of the game, except I look different. So we're gonna dodge this guy. Little heal run. This scorpion's. There's just a little weird lamp thingy poking out of the ground that you can walk into and it'll stop you. That's got to be careful. But pretty much, that scorpion has never hit me, and I've done a lot of runs. There are 2 scorpions on a bridge later that have killed me twice. So that scorpion I'm never scared of. You lost, little lamb. Hand over all you got. And nope. No, I will not. In fact, I will run away. Bye. She's just like, hey, get back here. And they're chasing me. Too late. Can't catch me. I'm too fast. I've learned this guy is RNG on which attack he does, and if he does a like weird like tentacle strike attack, you gotta roll it. It does a lot of damage. It wouldn't one shot me, but I mean I'd have to heal, and it's just so another mini boss coming up. It's kind of like an upgraded version of the other big boys we've been seeing. But like every other mini boss, though, we have a perfect strategy for just obliterate. So we're going to equip our amulets. We're going to run up, running heavy, charge heavy, charge heavy. You're like, spin? No. Tap heavy, spin. Another mini boss spun down. I like this merchant because he's very real. Because he's like, sorry, bud, but even in these times, I got to make a living. And I'm like, whatever, man. Make your dollar. I don't know how many customers you're going to be running into in this, collapsed society with blue rocks sticking out everywhere. But you know what? You do you, man. Take my money. So yeah, now this is truly official that the original chapters are no longer accessible because we're literally in the areas where they are, just so different. So if we run this right, run it correctly, we will not get disrupted. So disrupt is basically curse from the Souls games, if you know what that is. Essentially, if that bar fills up full, we just instantly die. That's the status effect. The status effect is death. So thankfully, I did not get extra ticks from running poorly. I ran correctly, and we got through it. So here comes another mini boss. I bet you can guess what we're gonna do to it. It rhymes with win. Yeah. We're gonna spin after some charge heavies. Oh, I actually messed it up. So the strategy is actually, well, I mean that word. Charge heavy, spin. But I accidentally did running heavy. But it's fine. Oh, another rare moment. We are going to get at a stargazer. We really tried to skip as many of these as we can. But one of the things that it just prevents us from skipping, like all of them, is our items. So say if you can see, we have like we can have up to 4 Fable catalysts at a time, and then we can get full Fable from the hotel, right? So basically, we get like 8 bars of Fable. Well, we also got a quartz upgrade that increases our Fable gained from using a Fable catalyst slightly more. But either way, we have to sit at Stargaze to replenish our items. That's kind of the big. Now, coming up is Walker of Illusions. This boss has gone through a bit of a lab session from people. But I'm actually proud because I found this strategy and I'm almost certain it is the fastest. It's the fastest we know of right now. You have to have 38 decks. That's important. We're gonna equip our amulets, fire up, throw a grenade. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shot put. 1, 2. Shot put. Shot put. Run up. Heavy into riposte. Into heavy. Into spin. And lock on. And she's done. Boom. Just like that. I would say she is the most scripted boss in the game, even more scripted than Parade Puppet, because we do not even parry her. So what she does doesn't even matter. So as long as we do it right, so she's really the only scripted boss. Um, the only true scripted boss. I don't know. I'm just like trying to think because okay, coming up, we got another one that is basically scripted. Like he's almost the same. He always does the same attack. He's sometimes can do an extra attack, but it's so we are going to keep going. So for this boss, since we're going to parry him, we want to put on our parry amulet and all our good amulets because we dish out some damage. But thanks to New Blade Runner again for finding out this strategy. Beautiful. Grenade, running heavy, parry heavy, charge heavy, charge heavy. We're gonna throw a grenade, and we're gonna dodge, charge heavy, and then spin. Then he's down. I like to just I think you could like get away with a charged heavy or 2 lights there. But I always like to take the riposte because that minion he spawns is very damaging and frustrating. Because if you end up killing him, he'll explode and then he can cause massive damage. Yeah, embarrassing to die. because, like I said, that guy's pretty scripted. And right, right before Corrupted Puppet, or right after, is what I would say is the hardest boss of this run, not of the game, but of this run. So what happened was, if you get to Swamp Monster, you can't come back to the hotel. It's very frustrating. I'm fairly certain. I might be wrong there. But either way, the Black Rabbit Brotherhood has raided the hotel. Very frustrating. So what we're going to do is first go find the friends, then talk to them. Of course, she had a secret piano chord that opens a hidden wall that leads to the enemy's base. Like, is that how they got here? I never really understood that. But she gives us the secret piano password to get to the next area. And then he gives us the ragey. Sick. So we're gonna give him the last two boxes that we picked up. And then we're gonna sell a bunch of stuff because we don't need it. Combined with money is level. We buy a bunch of these. So this is where, if I was doing specifically all ergo bosses, I would buy more Fable Catalysts there and buy 2 electric abrasives for Nameless Puppet, the final boss. So that is the first part where the run deviates. The run would have been completely identical otherwise. That's why it'll be my max incentive. So if we hit the incentive, and like, my plan would be to just buy the extra stuff anyway. It doesn't really lose us any money or anything, really, not that much. Maybe like 1 level we'll lose, but I don't even think that. Don't fucking answer that. And we go to yeah, I'll just buy those anyway, and then I'll do the correct dialogue choices to get him to spawn. Basically, after the final boss, we go to Dad and we give him our heart, and the run ends. And if we do some correct dialogue options, it will give us another option to say no and refuse to give him the heart, and we will fight the final boss. Okay, so coming up is Black Rabbit Brotherhood Part 2. So we fought him earlier and we kind of obliterated him. Because that's funny. Now we're just gonna fight him all for real. So now we have to finish him off. And this fight is brutal. Unlike the first one, if we somehow manage to kill Big Bro before the little bros, you still have to finish off the little bros. And this fight is just hard. This fight is just you gotta lab it 8 million times. Basically, the strat is backstab the first one who aggroes to you and then kill him, and then kill the other two as fast as possible. Yeah. This fight could go 800 million different ways. It's so random. Anyone who's played this casually knows that this fight is horrible. So I'm like the only cowardly runner who does this, but like literally I fight with the Spectre. People are like, it's slower technically, but I am way more consistent at this fight. Spectre. When I have Spectre, it's just way safer, and obviously I would do that at AGDQ. And I kind of playing this safe because I haven't had a decent run in a while at the time of this run. That's pretty solid second phase. You take that. Not the best of fights, but either way, as long as they're dead and I'm not, we're fine. So now there's Alidoro. He's sorry, excuse me. So there's Alidoro. He's the boss weapon guy. Turns out he's a traitor, and he led the people to go steal Geppetto. So Geppetto got kidnapped. But we found the submarine. We're gonna take the submarine to the next place or to their hideout. Now, let me ask you: you guys ever seen a submarine do this? Like, how do you think a submarine docks at a beach?
Will all the door guardian practice pay off? Will he give us the speed? Will we make the running light?
And it's like painted with like a shark on the front. I'm like, this part kind of just blew my mind a little. I don't know. But now big spoilery reveal. It turns out this is like a clue to Sophia, or then she kind of tells us basically she's been talking to us through Gemini, and her real body is elsewhere. So that's why like, it's interesting when you get to the hotel after it's like destroyed and all the people are hiding upstairs. She's just chilling there, and it's like, why aren't you with everyone else? And nobody ever really acknowledges. Turns out Sophia's literally like invisible to everyone but us. But then we're basically gonna learn about our past. We had a friend, and then died. I don't actually truly know. I'm the worst. We just talk to these ghosts. They give us money, and then we use the money to get stronger. That's what we do. So honestly, this would be a great time for some more donation. But running along the beach, once we talk to the fourth one, we don't need to talk to the fifth one. We technically don't need to talk to any of them, I don't think. But they give us these crystals, and they're worth a lot of souls. Actually, worth a lot. We'll take them, get some more levels to do more damage. So this next enemy, next boss, has ruined so many runs for me because like it's just the extremes for this boss. Either everything goes well and we kill him super fast, or everything goes horrible and I die. Like that's it. What about the just okay part where you survive but lose a lot of time? I mean, that's just horrible too. But either way, coming up to the door guardian. He has like two good openers, two or three, and the rest are horrible. Dude, he has like two really bad ones. So we'll see what he gives us. This boss is kind of a gimmicky boss though. He, basically, we have to knock him down twice, and because if you watch this, riposte is going to do half his health. Um, then in phase two, he almost always does the stomp. As long as we get in the right position and do the right moves, he'll do the stomp. We just take him down. Very easy. If he does other moves or we miss a parry or anything, the basically huge horribleness of the boss is when he hits you, he applies a, a status effect called like shock. Like not like electric shock, like shock status. And you basically can't heal very well. Your heals don't, or no. What was it? It's like your stamina just won't refill. Like once you block once and you fail, you're out of stamina and it won't recharge and then he just kills you. That was horrible. So now here comes one of two fancy jumps. We're gonna use the spin to move. We basically spin over to that bridge. It skips. Normally, you have to go up, hit a switch, it raises a bridge, and then run across that bridge and climb some ladders to get to where we got. There, we just jump across. Really nice. Earlier, I described how that single scorpion never killed me before, but later on, there was a bridge where there were two scorpions and they've killed me before. Here's a scorpion! So, we're going to run across this bridge and pray to Scorpion Jesus that we do not get scorpioned. And we made it. Awesome. So I still to this day am not 100% golden at this next jump. Thankfully, if we quit out, we'll be fine. Um, But like going down and climbing the ladder lasts so long, so we try and do this next trick. It has evolved where we used to lower FPS settings and jump it, but now we just do a running light. I have a much better setup than that. That was still when I was like first learning it, so I was just yellowing it. But I kind of do this stop now. But yeah, we kind of just skip across that little gap, and now we're on the run. Um, yeah, this would probably be a good time for some donation. Basically, we're just going to. I would probably be in focus ish mode during this part during the marathon, but
I thought he was gonna do the attack.
either way,
Fuck you.
I've done it a million times.
Whatever, I was ready, bitch.
So we're going to basically this end game section is it's the same philosophy of what we've been saying this whole time. Everything hits really hard, but we don't have a ton of health. Well, everything hits really hard and we don't wear armor. So it hits even harder. But what's nice is because of safety and how horrible the bros fight is, we actually level our health to like 18, 19. So we actually have more health than we've had. But everything is, we're in the end game. So everything is like what would normally like 3 shot someone with armor, 1 shots or 2 shots. It's crazy. So the running sections really aren't hard. It's just scary. So we're just gonna keep on running through there. We just had to activate that bridge. So unfortunately don't have a jump to skip that bridge, but similar to what the first jump skipped, hit that switch and it opened. Basically what we did. So now we're gonna go down to go up, kind of thing. Drop to the bottom of this room just so we can take the elevator. Elevator, go. Equip some armor.
Oh wow.
We don't need the glaive equipped anymore.
Didn't even know I could. That's probably gonna fuck me up for lags.
It's so used to not running with the glaive that I kind of just get rid of it. But here we're gonna do a little parkour to jump onto this bridge. Technically, there's a faster jump that's way more inconsistent, jumping the first gap. And we're just a casual hour and 18. Let's just do a really inconsistent hard jump to save a second and a half.
Yeah, hopefully.
So here's the black cat. So fun fact, if we refuse to give him a gold coin at the swamp or we accidentally hit no, he turns into a boss. But he actually doesn't matter. Because like a lot of bosses,
Dude, it's not that
it's like boss fight starts, they don't put an imaginary fog wall to stop you. You can just
hard.
run to this elevator even if he tries to fight you.
And we definitely have enough.
It's kind of like the same as Robber Weasel. Like they just don't care.
Right past this.
So we're gonna take this elevator and then we're gonna run through this prison section and we're just gonna keep going up.
It's so late. Yeah.
This would be another good time for some donations.
Spin, in my opinion. So I was like, fuck it.
I was kind of proud because I contributed to finding the fastest route through here. Actually timed this section and found, yeah, if you go right first, much faster. Ha. So we're gonna climb this ladder.
Do the running light and you don't sit at that bomb.
And there's a jester at the end of this hall. Technically, we want him to chase us because that would give us the fastest, but it's way more dangerous. So I actually never want him to chase me. So I run on the left side, and it's hard to tell if that unblockable attack was aimed at me or not. If he aggroes at us, he will almost like jump scare us and be right behind us after this lever, which there he is.
Fuck you.
If he doesn't go for us, he's just not there and it's very safe. So it's kind of like you don't know.
But I don't fucking
And again, that is the same. I think that's the only other jester. There might be another one, but those enemies are the worst. They're the worst. Like they're really crazy. They apply a status effect that I think they apply the status effect that makes your heals not do anything, and it like barely heals you. But once we're past the prison, we're back to this kind of outside segment where we're just gonna keep climbing. the tower. So donations. There's this part up here where there's these two guys who basically two shot us, and uh, we don't want that. So we're going to heal after this fall damage. Fall damage on purpose, and I'll probably roll them. It's like if you run it perfectly, this second guy you could run past. But I didn't run that well at all, so I had to roll. And I'll probably roll regardless because they hurt and it's not that much time loss. And again, once you get like past an hour in, everything that is quote unquote easy is hard. Excuse me. So once we get to these ladders, we're in the clear in terms of we made it to Laxasia, aka Lightning Lake, aka one of the hardest phase twos in the game. One of, but not. Because I'd say nameless. But essentially, I love about her phase speed run is it's super scripted. Phase one, we're just gonna kill her really fast with Fable Heavies. You'll see. Phase two, though, we're going to. She starts off flying up and she shoots 6 lightnings at you. Fun fact, if you didn't know, you can parry the lightning back at her, kind of like Link does to Phantom Ganon. Whenever he hits them back, so you just parry her lightning back to her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're gonna parry heavy, tap heavy, into charge heavy, into spin, into block kill. It's gonna be great. You gotta see it. Okay. So we're gonna go in. My opinion, probably the I think she's cooler than Nameless Puppet, but I don't think she's harder. I think I got really lucky on her though. She has like 2 openings, so we're just gonna punish it how we know how. And it's kind of just parry her. Do the damage. So we're gonna just kind of chunk her. The thing about her is just knowing how to get the parry heavy off, how to parry her attack. So we're gonna make sure we are full Fable or full enough. And then we're gonna acid up again because she's weak to acid. 4, 5, 6. Run forward. Parry with the heavy, tap heavy, charge heavy, and then spin. There is a chance she hops up out of the spin, at least a little, but we should be fine. Okay, so now we're gonna unequip all the stuff. So now this is special dialogue choice number 1. So if we're doing any percent glitchless, we would let her live because we don't want to be a murderer. Actually, the evil option. But if we want to fight Nameless Puppet, we have to give her peace. And then a cutscene plays, and then yeah. So it's actually much slower dialogue option to select give her peace, but if we're going for Nameless, we have to. If we're not, we select the other one and we keep going. It depends on if we meet that incentive. Probably check on the donations as we go. I'd basically just assume I was going to fight Nameless, and then if we won't meet it, then well, too bad. Can't show it. So we're gonna keep going. This last running section is just it's really not that hard at all. But if you have a run that's here and you're like on pace, it just exponentially so nervous. All right. But yeah, essentially it's just we're gonna run. So donations, final donations for the run. We got a little bit. In my opinion, when I was playing this game casually, I kept being like, holy cow, this is still going. Okay, surely the boss is at wow, really? Another Stargazer? I guess we're still going. So So you gotta keep running.
Oh yeah, and it's probably not.
This part is a little sus. I actually make it easier just because I don't like getting shot and ruining the run at this point. But we grapple him. It doesn't matter if he falls or not because then we jump this gap. And like not jumping the gap is even harder, I would say, than doing the jump. Might as well. Fun fact,
Bro.
if that guy hits us with his
Hell yeah,
ultra
look at
charge
that. Why
poke
that
like that,
listen, it
um,
almost one-shot me
we
and I
die.
had full health, so that was easy.
Because if we're not full health, he almost kills, which means he might if he high rolls. But either way, we didn't. We dodged it. So there's Red Fox. We give her a coin and keep going. Yay! Dad, Geppetto, I have saved you again. It's just like when we beat Donkey. So if we are going for nameless, we want to specifically select yes, he was a good dad. We're in any percent glitchless. I don't think it matters at all what you select.
Yeah, 100% he was killing me with that move. Thankfully
But
he hit me
fun
with that before,
fact,
and I was
if this is any percent glitchless, this is the final Stargazer of the run. Let's go. Can we close it out? So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna level up our decks just so we can do more damage. We're going to Fable up because we're not gonna sit again before the final boss. Is this Stargazer is just closer, and if anything, we take a little bit of damage here. If we take a little bit of damage and survive, otherwise we take a lot of bit of damage and die. So this is the final running segment. Again, not really hard, but the nerves would be real. I was like on record pace or something like that. Uh yeah, those big pokes is really the only threat. And what sucks is what stinks is sorry, they do a lot of damage. A ton of damage. I mean, it's like we're at the final part of the game, so every regular enemy. Right. So, fun fact: there's only one of this guy in the whole game. There he is. Okay, bye. Unique, last unique enemy in the game, and yeah, we just bye. Don't need to deal with him. This last part can be a little scary because if this guy hits you, it basically you're an open season for this guy to shoot you, and the combo is death. Poke into shot, not good. But there we are. We have made it to the end. That was the last enemy to run past was the guy with the gun. So we're gonna go for Manus. Manus is weak to acid. So we're gonna whip our stuff, acid up, take him down. Uh See the thing about Manus is he's not really that hard. He just hits hard combined with his attacks, especially in phase one, are super slow. They're just really obnoxiously slow. When you fight stuff that has been really fast, recent fightings, kind of like, I hate this. There goes phase one. Pretty simple. He has a lot of things he can open with. That is the best thing. You like that. He usually does this like two hitting combo, and then sometimes he does a third. We just don't want to hit him too much. We want to get him really far, really low health for once we hit him with the second one and he goes into this phase. Because our big plan is we're trying to kill him before the hand comes down. So we do a Fable heavy into spin, into attack. And there we go. Down goes Manus. So if we were going for Nameless, we would select I liberated her from the Abbey. I don't know the specifics on why, but it's just what we do. Then we would use the ergo from the boss we just killed and go down. So then we use this item to instantly deplete all our health and because like the timer stops during load screens, at least during our live splits.
Do not refuse.
So once we get down to the bottom, there's a run to Geppetto and give him our heart, and it's over. But if we were doing all ergo bosses, we would actually pick up our souls, fable up, level up, come over here, refuse to give him the heart, and then yeah, keep moving. And there we go. That is the run. Time happens like
This is literally.
when you skip the last cutscene.
I've done it.
You hear myself celebrating in the back. So
Tied.
I probably won't talk as much because I'll have the couch to help me talk, and I'll probably bounce more off of them and ask them questions and stuff. But in terms of the run, that's my submission video. So I hope you consider me. I'll be coming anyway to the event, and I'll be there the whole week. So I'm excited, but I hope you guys consider it. I would love to do this run for everyone. I think it's really cool run, especially with all the parrying, and unlike any percent that skips like half the game, we don't skip really anything. We fight all the main stuff, so I think it's just a really entertaining run, and I hope you consider it. Please, please, please. I'll see you in January. Take care.